Three, two, one.
Good evening, this is DJ Gomez 613. It's your time to shine, Amy, so take it away, Amy.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in to WDBG Livestream TV. I'm Amy Suzanne, CEO of the WDBG Windsor Detroit Broadcast Group and Directress of the VNA Voices of North America Media Group Guild. Bonsoir, says soi. And once again, because I'm personally glad and happy you're here with us tonight, welcome to tonight's WDBG broadcast of Focus Scope, live from Metro Windsor, Detroit. All right, folks, let me tell you straight up what tonight's show is all about so you know exactly why you're going to want to stick around for every minute of this. Tonight we're going deep, real deep, into the raw, unfiltered truth about how Canada and the United States ended up in the cultural, political, economical, ideological, and, oh yeah, spiritual, damn clusterfuck of a mess we're in right now. And tonight, my online friends and fam together with me, yeah, this here girl, we're going to be pulling back the curtain on the slow poison that's been fed to our kids, even many of us ourselves in schools for more than 100 years. Starting way back in the late 1800s, turning generation after generation against their own countries, their own history, their own values. And tonight, you're going to hear exactly how leftist ideologies, Marxist ideas, Howard Zinn's twisted version of history, radical teachers' unions, university indoctrination mills, Chinese communist money flowing through Confucius institutes, and even some so-called harmless cultural organizations quietly worked together to gut national pride, fracture families, hollow out our economies, and leave both nations teetering right on the edge of self-destruction. We're naming names, dropping dates, quoting books, exposing the actual playbook they followed, straight out of Mao's Little Red Book, Lenin's strategies, and the long march through every institution that matters. You'll understand why patriotism got replaced with guilt and shame, why kids today can list every sin their country ever committed, but can barely name one thing worth celebrating, and why so many of us feel like strangers in the lands our parents and grandparents built. And yeah, we're also getting real about some other stuff too. Yep, we're even going to discuss stuff like jealousy and basic female nature, what happens when attractive conservative women start getting big platforms, why some supposed allies turn on each other viciously, and why girls like me, Kim Klasik, Andy Lee, and What's-Her-Face keep getting attacked from every direction, sometimes even by people who should be on the same side. You're going to see clips from Kim Klasik telling her own story in her own words after she got hit hard, What's-Her-Face dropping savage satirical truth bombs that'll make you laugh and nod at the same time, and me laying it all out, no filter, no apologies, just straight talk. So buckle up. This is going to be raw, it's going to be honest, it's going to piss some people off, and it's going to wake a hell of a lot of people up. If you've ever wondered how the hell we got here and what we actually do about it, tonight's the night you get real answers. But first, before we dive deep into all of that heavy stuff, you guys out in the audience need to hear and understand a bit more about me, what I do, who we are at WDBG and VNA, and why I'm the one sitting here telling you this kind of truth with no sugarcoating and no corporate leash. There may be a few out there in our audience who are thinking that I'm a bit provocatively attired for a media professional or that I'm revealing a bit too much cleavage. However, I'd like to take a few moments and say I'm purposefully doing that for a couple of reasons. The first is that because I've been doing this quite a long time, experience has taught me what acts as a magnet to draw an audience. We have quite a following on Twitter and other social media. However, not so please, after watching the show, don't forget to subscribe and hit our notification bell. Thanks. Now let's return to why I decided to attire myself as to reveal a bit more cleavage, a bit more seductively sexual than most female show hosts, broadcast commentators, reporters, or other media personnel usually do. Well, if any of you out there in tonight's audience have ever seen any of WDBG TV's or VNA's videos I've appeared in, you'll recognize I usually attire myself as sexily as possible, usually always in a low-cut top or blouse that's opened a bit lower and wider than most females in the media would ever dare do. As I said, I've been doing what I do for a long time, so through that experience, I've learned that by doing that, dressing a bit more revealingly creates a psychological stimulus or sort of magnetic draw to both male and female potential viewers to click on a thumbnail for a video, or in past days, tune their television to that female's program or channel. Males because it's basic male instinct to be aroused, and females because it's instinctual for a female to be psychologically stimulated by her basic female instinct to assess another female she sees or encounters in order to determine if the other female is a friend or foe, a potential threat, or a possible ally. This need for any normal human female to do this is heightened when a female sees another girl revealing her sexuality a bit more than most females do, and I'll just come right out and say it like it really is, like I always do. That instinct in any female usually goes into overdrive when she sees another girl with a decent rack kind of flaunting it. So they usually start to think, who the hell is this bitch? And why is she doing that? What's this? And she all about? And 9 times out of 10, when such other female is on television or a video, the female will out of instinct and curiosity also click to see and find out a bit more. Because unlike a casual encounter in a real social setting, she can do that safely without anyone else noticing, or as in a social setting, where the other female may notice her looking and say, "What the fuck you staring at, bitch?" Or some other embarrassing thing could occur. That's why, usually unlike with most male and male relationships or friendships, it's often even a bit harder for a female to become friends with another female. Although, as most of those in our audience tonight know, males also size each other up. However, in the context of why I'm being a bit of an exhibitionist sexually in my attire and way I'm dressed like this, exhibiting so much breast cleavage that's rather irrelevant to the conversation or reason I'm doing it. But I hope both the males as well as the females in the audience tonight appreciate my candor, frankness, and honesty. Now, speaking of that subject, and the female who's talking to you, now's probably a good time to tell you a little bit more about myself. As most of you have probably noticed, the image of the female talking to you that you're actually seeing on the screen is an image created by artificial intelligence. There are a number of very good reasons why I've had our technical team do that and clone me via AI. I'll get into them shortly. But I do want you to know that the face you're seeing on the screen, as well as the body, are an exact clone of my own. In real life, I actually look like the girl you're seeing on the screen, as well as sound like the girl you're hearing, as my real voice has been synthesized by our tech team to sound exactly like my own. If any of you in the audience have heard me talking, or Vinny talking about me, in any of our previous WDBG or VNA video broadcasts, you may recall I wasn't always doing what I do now as a media person. So once again, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm in my early 40s now, and at one time in my life, when I was younger, I worked in the sex trade as an exotic dancer to help feed myself and buy those little things a girl needs. So I'm also a bit familiar with exhibiting a bit of myself, although these days, I sure as hell don't flash and expose or exhibit as much of my body as back then. However, I am a firm believer in and an advocate of real biological females and the natural beauty that resides in each and every single natural biological female. I feel that God created the female body to be a pleasing, as well as the most beautiful natural biological entity the good Lord and his mysterious, as well as gracious benevolence ever created and placed on this earth. Often a moment I myself wondered what Eve, the original woman, looked like. I don't know how you in the audience feel, but she must have been extremely gorgeous, as she was the prototype for all who followed or are on Earth today. I was born and raised in the Maritimes of Eastern Canada. As a child, I was said to be a good little girl, but like most females, once I hit my teens, I wanted to explore myself as well as the world. Yet I still had those seeds my mother and father planted in me, those seeds of family, morality, country, and other. Fortunately for myself, you out there in our audience, as well as for what I do, I've known or interacted and learned about people, places, and things of all walks, with social station or ability. Dependent on the place, time, person, and scenario, I've known and interacted with people, from the ranks of the rich and famous to the gangsters, hustlers, and scumbags of society. Those in the loftier as well as lower perches and reaches of the realms. But however, most importantly, learn from all those people that human nature, no matter what one's social station, wealth, or environment, are very much the same in basic psychological nature, needs, and desire. I'd also like to tell you now, in all honesty, that I'm not the smartest girl on God's green earth, and yes, I'm trying to sell myself to you here, but not my body or physical traits, just my experience, intellect, and ability in regards to what I do here at WDBG and VNA. Moreover, what our members and myself are trying to do, which is be an informative and honest, trustworthy public service. So let's be honest with each other from the get-go, as I'm being honest with you now so we can build a bit of trust up together between us. Too many in the media, as well as the world, don't think that honesty matters anymore. Who will bend the truth to their own perspective, relevant truth? Me, I'll always tell you what it is, like it is, just as it is unbiasedly, or as it's most beneficial to you in North America. So, speaking of that honesty, I'm going to explain a bit more about why I've chosen to appear as an AI avatar clone of myself. Just so you know, this AI avatar clone of myself speaking to you now was created from photos of myself that are several years old. I don't have the blonde, two-toned Bailey age hairstyle anymore. My hairstyle is different, but my face and voice look and sound the same. I, for personal safety, prefer not to come on camera as I appear today due to dangers from past stalkers, threats, and some of the more sinister, egotistical, degenerate, evil, and even criminally insane or sociopathical dangerous people out in North America today. Far too many of them might consider what I'm doing and saying in here as some sort of sexual come fuck me, I'm here, and I'm available type of sell or thing I'm doing here by being honest with everyone. And then, of course, there are those who try to seek attention, clicks, and fame by attacking others for things they've done in the past to benefit their own ego more than the public's. What happened to Kim Klasik, the attractively vibrant black girl from Baltimore who was running for Congress, is a prime example, so I'll show you now. For those who don't know how some people, even wealthy and famous people, attack others like Kim and I for things that may or not have done, just to get a bit of attention and clicks, even if the person they attack has altered their life and demonstrated good things to the world. In order to get a bit of attention and clicks, they're often attacked like Kim. So without further ado, here's Kim Klasik in her own words telling you what happened to her and what can happen to anyone. And after you watch this as a little educational break in the conversation, as well as for reference, I'll be back, we'll talk, and finish this conversation after hearing from Kimberly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the Armstrong-Williams Show. We're on with Kimberly Klasik, who ran for congressman in Baltimore. And the latest is between she and Candace Owens in this public feud. And she has not said anything as a result of the salacious allegations. And this is her first public statement. Kim, welcome to the show. And obviously you're in shell shock from the allegations and the things that are happening to you in your career. Talk to us briefly about what you have to say about all that is going on.
Yes, thank you, Armstrong, first of all, for having me today. I am in shock. My family is in shock. We have private citizens and businesses that have been put under fire. They are also in shock. But we have not actually spoken out until now because we wanted to make sure that we all obtain legal counsel so that we can move forward the correct way and the intelligent way. But, you know, this all started out from a tweet. I think there was some misleading information out there. Some people thought it was from a tweet of Candace's dislike for Juneteenth. That is a lie. That is wrong. This tweet that was sent out, she said that something about Black people being brainwashed and by Democrats and they have to wake up in their communities. I quote tweeted that tweet and I said, you know what? Black people are not brainwashed. A lot of Black people in underserved communities know that it is classism, not racism. I said sometimes the loudest voices with the loudest platforms have the biggest mouths. And I said, you know, this might come as a shock to you because of your lack of engagement in the Black community. That, Armstrong, was the tweet. That is what started all of this. And that's why we're here, I guess, at this point today.
What about the allegations? I don't want to get into this. I mean, that you're some kind of an operative for Republicans and their money and you support Democrats. And obviously what you did in your campaign when you ran for office, you wanted to really understand the communities and you hired an expert who just happens to be a Democratic operative to sort of help you with the messaging.
Correct. If anybody knows anything about running for office, especially a congressional campaign as you do, and so many others do, but this individual, Candace Owens, does not. You hire a Democrat that has the voter information that allows you to see which independents and moderate Democrats are good to target to hopefully go and knock doors, phone calls to persuade for their vote. It is a D+30 district that I ran in. You would have to reach the Democrats in order to flip this district. And so we hired Democrats and Republicans that had this voter information so that we can target everyone that was an active voter in the past 5 years. And that's usually how this works. But again, if you've never run a campaign, if you've never run for office and you've never worked on a campaign, you wouldn't know that. And that is why I am defending that issue, because Candace Owens has never done that.
You know, I know people who know you very well, and they vouch for the fact that you've never been involved with drugs, taking drugs, but yet there's allegations of cocaine use between you and your ex-husband.
Yes. So my husband and I are estranged. We actually separated in October before the November elections. This is not something that I talk about because obviously this is a private matter. My husband is a private citizen. He does not like the spotlight whatsoever. He's a certified public accountant. And so she made the allegations that we were laundering money and doing drugs and recruiting, I guess, women to a adult club, which is basically saying that we are accused of human trafficking. She made all of these allegations about a certified public accountant and a former congressional candidate. She said in this video that she could not verify any of this information. She said that we were partying in a club during the campaign with campaign funds. Armstrong, if she was the detective that she pretends to be, she would know that all of the clubs in Baltimore City were shut down due to the pandemic in Baltimore. So there was no possible way anybody was partying in a club or able to launder money into a club that was completely closed.
You know, I know there are the allegations about your being a former stripper. And, you know, people don't understand. All of us have past. None of us are perfect. We do things in our lives that we're not proud of. But, you know, we're forgiven and we become better people. You're not the person who you were years ago. You're the person who you are today.
That is true. And you know what? I feel bad for all those young women that are now, you know, out there that probably thought, you know, why would she attack other women for doing what they can, maybe to make ends meet? You know, who is she to tell anybody what job they could or could not do when it is legal in it is legal to be an exotic dancer. That's not an illegal job. But I feel bad for all those women that currently have that occupation that probably feel attacked right now.
You know, the main thing we wanted to do was have you on the day, give you a forum to share your perspective instead of not just saying anything. I mean, we wish you well. It's so unfortunate to see two powerful, very accomplished women involved in this kind of feud in the public. There's so few of you who happen to be conservative and who are black and have this substantial platforms. And you know what? We live in a country where people are innocent until they're proven otherwise. And you should not lose your way of life because of allegations that have not been proven. We wish you well. Certainly we will continue to have you on our platforms. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate what Candace Owens does because there's room for both of you. And hopefully you can settle this and move on. But we really appreciate your joining the Armstrong-Williams Show today for the clarification. And also, just know that you're in our prayers, you're in our thoughts, and we just hope that people don't just discontinue their association with you because of these allegations. I mean, you have so much to offer, and like I said, we wish you well in the future.
If I could say one more thing, Armstrong, I just want to say those private businesses that were accused of not being in good standing during the pandemic and the lockdown, all city and state buildings were closed. That is why they didn't have their standing updated online. They are in good standing, and as COVID restrictions lift, you will see that it just was not updated online. And so that's the information that she was going off of. And I just hope that all those supporters of mine out there and donors and everybody that supported our run and now our PAC understand that I am still the same person they have always known to be. It is saddened that we come to this point that fake news can be produced as real news. But, you know, I am not that person, and they can trust me as usual moving forward.
Thank you so much, Kim Klasik, and we'll be talking to you again in the future. I'm Armstrong Williams.
Both these very attractive American females are bodily and facially very beautiful. Myself, and probably every female out there in the audience tonight, based upon the true nature and psychological makeup of the human female, may, could, or can construe the thing that happened between Candace and Kim was due to that basic human female nature. Yep, that's right, jealousy. And even though Candace is, let's just say, less prone to flaunt her gift, many conservatives in North America think is her very shapely, hot and sexy body, or the nice rack she has, as openly as Kim often does. Most North American females do feel if Candace were to attire or pack all that there, she definitely possesses herself physically or body-wise into more form-fitting, gripping attire like Kim attires herself in. Candace be like a hot black conservative pinup poster girl herself, like the Bardo or Marilyn Monroe of the past, or Beyonce and Kim Kardashian of today. So if it was that basic female nature, or even if Candace actually was ticked off by what Kim said, in my opinion, as well as in many others' opinion, both are pretty dumb reasons to attack an ally, especially one that worked as hard as Kim has to use those very apparent God-given gifts of sensually stimulating attractiveness, magnetic smile, personality, and hot, sexy way she attires and best enhances those gifts. I'd also like to tell you out there in the audience, now that I'm sorry my dress keeps fluttering around, I'm not doing that on purpose. But as you see, I'm trying to have my avatar hold the center of this dress between her legs by pinching it between her knees. As I'm doing in real life now, because in real life I'm wearing the same actual dress and standing under some real hot fucking lights while they were filming me with 3 cameras. One of them an old-school Panasonic SVHS professional video cam, and the other huge RCA TK42 series television studio broadcast cam to make the AI from the A and B roll footage those 2 cameras did of me standing in a hot room burning my ass up under all the extremely bright lighting they were also using. So yeah, I had him put a fan on the floor to cool empty hot self off. So that's why my avatar's holding the middle portion of the lower part of my dress between her knees so it doesn't blow open, exposing my coochie to the world to piss off the Bible and Quran thumpers, complaining Karens. And or social media overlords of the world, so like duh, the fluttering of the dress is due to that. And for any of you wannabe smart asses out there, no, I'm not trying to imitate, nor do I think I'm fucking Marilyn Monroe or Brigitte Bardot to try to pull off those windswept or fluttering raised dress shots they were so famous for. Myself, And in case you haven't picked up on it yet, especially by what I just said and tossed at you about honesty, in relation to even my attire, oft say things most are also thinking, without mincing words. Straight up and straight out. I try to talk with you out in the audience like I'm your close friend, in the vernacular plain fucking language you'd hear from your close friend in private, at work, home, in the office, in the car, or wherever. I'll say shit just like that. Unlike most media people would openly say what most people are thinking without worrying what the fuck anyone else in the media, politicians, or the fucking woke left quasi-religion discipleship libtards think about it. That's why even though I've been here at WDBG for several years now, everyone's kind of tried to keep my voice and manner of using it off the air, and that ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure kind of train of thought. Also, I and my family were, and still are, very concerned that I'll be hit like Candace hit Kim, either out of jealousy or just to get a few clicks. Also, there are some fucking pieces of shit out there, especially in Canada, like a girl named Deanna Sharif, who's, in my opinion, is a real piece of shit bitch who runs her mouth foully to verbally attack conservative media and other conservative personalities, and even physically assaults them. And she's not the only violent, dangerous nutbar in Canada or North America. I myself have been shot at, as well as been the target of a wacko nutbar female wheeling an old Buick Deuce and a quarter who tried to run my little one and myself over, and the target of another male loon wheeling a Ford F-250. Pickup Andy Lee and her kids also been threatened on numerous occasions and targets of assault. Actually, I'm pretty sure she's been threatened more than me. But most of her threats occurred before the El Bozo wackos discovered I was actually the CEO and head of our very vocal group and its widely popular voices. Yep, they hate us. You know those peeps who say they're all about anti-hate, so I take precautions. So my and my little one don't end up like Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, or Charlie Kirk. Now, before topics, I'm gonna also say there's this, let's say, overplump moron who's been nicknamed Purse Nuggets, whom David Menzies interviewed, the no-comment nutbar wearing the witch hat. Remember her? And that crazy with hat-wearing commie lunatic basically does the same shit Deanna does. Sans Deanna's propensity of being physically assaultive like Deanna and many others of the brainwashed Marxist loon left ilk, whom all feel they have license to do that because the police in Canada are afraid of being criticized by the media or by the masses of woke leftist libtards created and controlled by the leftist ruling scumbag elite of Canada, who fund and promote woke moronic family and nation, destroying nonsense they using to try to destroy Canada and the United States via their Maoist Long March quasi-religious woke fucking straight-up bullshit so they can turn it into their pipe dream vision of a globalist woke utopia, regardless of the very true facts that many of North America's people neither want or believe in the benefit of doing that. They just don't fucking care and use the same tactics Mao Zedong and every other fucking commie dictator or group has used, mingled in with a bit of nut-Z party tactics in the mix. If you saw the last 2/3 of our WDBG Christmas special a year or so ago, I made sure to include in that their Xmas special. What the truth of that's all about, and warn you, educate you on just what the hell is happening, where it came from, what it is today, and where it'll go if we don't wake up and stop it. Andy Lee's also been trying to warn you I'm just a bit more in the vernacular vocal than her. I'm also a lot like Kim had a past like her, even worse than Kim's. Yeah, you heard me. I myself had a past very similar to Kim's. I worked in a titty bar. I'm not going to try to whitewash over it or try to make or label it to be more glamorous or professional like many girls do, or like a fucking reporter, YouTube creator who'll call or does call themselves a fucking journalist in order to make what they actually do sound a bit more haughty or elevating and professional, even though they don't write anything except for damn Twitter tweets. I revealed and displayed my tits and ass in public for money. However, unlike Kim in my case, before I was married and doing the dance thing to put myself through college, it's been more than a few times I myself got coaxed, cheated, or manipulated into having dates. And Yeah, even sex with more than a few of the clients, both males and females, for the money too. I'm not proud of that and the things I did to put myself through school back in those days these days, but I don't think females who've done that in the past, or still doing it today, are pieces of shit. I changed my life for personal reasons and removed myself from that lifestyle. I became Christian. I'm definitely not a Bible thumper always trying to ram God or Jesus down everyone's, or anyone's throat. I'm just trying to be me, with my own spiritual relationship with God, and be like a little light on the hill, example that it is possible to quit a dangerous lifestyle and what traditional society has deemed inappropriate or sexually deviant behavior. I like most nude or semi-nude dancers, porn actresses, or other sex workers eventually get either too tired of seeing every kind of pervert, penis, or gaping female pussy being just pieces of meat or just too damn old to make a living from that kind of lifestyle anymore. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I don't think any girl who has done that or still does is a piece of shit. And I myself, as a human female, still enjoy good sex. But I personally, to be straight up frank about it, prefer still like a hard male penis in me, however with only my man and the intimacy, and to bring human life under God's family plan into the world, plus the soul, mind, and heart sharing is much more precious to me than just a hard dick, tongue on my clit, and pure sexual satisfaction. Or, for that matter, the money, and the attention, and yeah, that part of it being. On stage, men and oft women craving ya is, to many of the girls who dance nude or semi-nude, kind of exciting when they first start out on stage, or even in a way flattering to a girl's ego or sense of value, but after a while that shit wears off, and they start to not like it anymore. Now, more about why I'm only going on camera or starting to appear in WDBG and VNA videos lately, even though I've been here for almost half a decade, is because of safety and security reasons. After all, I'm, let's just say, way more than just slightly conservative vocally, so those like the Deanna and Purse Nuggets characters or other even worse libtards or Antifa morons may try to do all that their narcissistic, attention-seeking selves have a propensity to do, and if they can recognize me on the street, try to rape me, try to attack me, even again, try to kill me, and possibly even my children or family members I don't trust or even want to deal with, talk with, or even see any of those nation-destroying pieces of fucking shit, or have any of them clock me. Plus, due to what I did in past life and several previous episodes back in my dance days where my life was put in danger, I don't like showing exactly what I look like at any given moment, what color hair or hairstyle I currently have, or anything that reveals where I'm actually at or where my children attend school, or where any of my family's homes are. For anyone doubting my story, here's the real proof via 2 short video clips that this here girl is now gonna let everyone see. I want y'all to know that I'm only showing these 2 clips of the real me in the live. Yeah, even my face. Moreover, my current hairstyle and color as shown in the second clip, all in the raw and the real, like I always try to do in one way or another. Just like everything else this here girl does, says, or shows and throws at ya. Even if me doing that may let the leftist loons and nutbar libturd wackos who stalk, threaten, and attack me or even have tried to kill me, a few seconds glimpse of the real me, yeah, this here girl is gonna take that chance and do it anyways. Regardless of that possible danger of them clocking me out while shopping or something, simply so everyone out in the audience can visualize, as far as my physical body and face's camera-friendly magnetism and appeal are concerned, even my stamina now are concerned, both these 2 clips I'm gonna show of me back then, as well as the second one of me roughly a week ago, are all 100% me in both the raw and in the real. So enjoy this little truthful wake-up, and I'll be back to talk with y'all a bit more afterwards. Here's the first video.
Cheers to a great night. Absolutely. Great to see everyone. Good times.
scars on my heart, they feel so deep. Promises shattered, secrets I keep. Every tear falls like a heavy rain, wishing for sunshine to wash away the pain. I feel lost, sometimes can't find my way, hoping for brighter skies, a brand new day. I know it's hard to believe right now, but there's a whisper, I'll show you how. Only time can make it right. Healing wounds in the pale moonlight. Only time will dry your eyes, turning sadness into sweet goodbyes. Just hold on tight and you will see. Only time will set you free. Memories linger, a bittersweet taste, but with each sunrise there's no more waste of precious moments spent in despair. A new chapter starts, a breath of fresh air. I'm slowly learning to let go and bloom, escaping the shadows, breaking through the glue. The path is clearer, the vision bright, stepping forward into the guiding light. Only time can make it right. Healing wounds in the pale moonlight. Only time will dry your eyes, turning sadness into sweet goodbyes. Just hold on tight and you will see. Only time will set you free. It's a patient healer, quiet and...
Remember, though, that this first clip you just saw was, and is, authentic historical footage of me doing the full artistic pole routine back when I worked as an exotic dancer to pay my way through law school. All of this, in these two short yet evidencing truthful clips, is shown by me and me alone in my capacity as VNA's and WDBG's Chief Executive Officer and on-camera quasi-queen, solely for documentary, educational, and personal historical purposes. Straight testimony in our bigger conversation about fighting feminism, cultural Marxism, personal empowerment, and fixing North American education. And for all the Bible and Quran thumpers or any of y'all censorious big tech or .gov overlords, remember also that both these clips are and should be considered cultural art as well as news truths. Both are purely artistic and gymnastic, inspired by pros like Jen Butterfly, strength, skill, athleticism, technique. Any brief nudity at the end is incidental to the act and presented without intent to arouse or provide sexual gratification. This is not porn, not fetish content, not edited to isolate sexual parts. It's short, contextual proof from my own life. So without any further ado, here's the second video clip of me trying to pull off one of my old dance routines back about a week ago at age 42. To viewers, moderators, platform teams, this qualifies under YouTube's educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic, EDSA, exceptions to the nudity and sexual content policy. Primary purpose here is educational and documentary in a public interest cultural commentary video, not sexual gratification. And to shut down any "she's making it up" noise, this is me this week at 42 doing the exact same artistic pole routine. Current brown hair, current style, current body. It was harder this time. Flexibility and health aren't what they were in my 20s, but the talent, the fire, and the truth still burning. No edits, no illusions. Just me, owning past and present. If this challenges assumptions, triggers the Bible thumpers, Quran thumpers, pearl clutchers, cackling Karens, or gets Candace Owens and every click-chasing outrage merchant talking shit about me and VNA, that's fine by me. At least it's real talk. The real me taking a second chance at life, putting it all out there for a few seconds to prove the damn point. That's why raw, honest stories like this matter. They cut through the bullshit and build something unbreakable. So loves ya all. Now that y'all have heard and seen all that, let's get on with the rest of the show. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single breath of what's coming next. We're about to dive deep into the interviews, the real breakdowns, the truth bombs on fixing education and smashing cultural lies. This is where the movement heats up. Stick tight. We're just getting started.
Absolutely. Great to see everyone. Good times.
Scars on my heart, they feel so deep. Promises shattered, secrets I keep. Every tear falls like a heavy rain, wishing for sunshine to wash away the pain. I feel lost, sometimes can't find my way, hoping for brighter skies, a brand new day. I know it's hard to believe right now, but there's a whisper, I'll show you how. Only time can make it right. Healing wounds in the pale moonlight. Only time will dry your eyes, turning sadness into sweet goodbyes. Just hold on tight and you will see. Only time will set you free. Memories linger, a bittersweet taste, but with each sunrise there's no more waste of precious moments spent in despair. A new chapter starts, a breath of fresh air. I'm slowly learning to let go and bloom, escaping the shadows, breaking through the gloom. The path is clearer, the vision bright, stepping forward into the guiding light. Only time can make it right. Healing wounds in the pale moonlight. Only time will dry your eyes, turning sadness into sweet goodbyes. Just hold on tight and you will see. Only time will set you free. It's a patient healer, quiet and slow, watching tenderly as feelings grow from broken pieces. A stronger heart will rise, reflecting wisdom in your shining eyes.
purely artistic and gymnastic, inspired by pros like Jen Butterfly, strength, skill, athleticism, technique. Any brief nudity at the end is incidental to the act and presented without intent to arouse or provide sexual gratification. This is not porn, not fetish content, not edited to isolate sexual parts. It's short, contextual proof from my own life. So without any further ado, here's the second video clip of me trying to pull off one of my old dance routines back about a week ago at age 42. To viewers, moderators, platform teams, this qualifies under YouTube's educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic, EDSA, exceptions to the nudity and sexual content policy. Primary purpose here is educational and documentary in a public interest cultural commentary video, not sexual gratification. And to shut down any "she's making it up" noise, this is me this week at 42 doing the exact same artistic pole routine. Current brown hair, current style, current body. It was harder this time. Flexibility and health aren't what they were in my 20s, but the talent, the fire, and the truth, still burning. No edits, no illusions. Just me, owning past and present. If this challenges assumptions, triggers the Bible thumpers, Quran thumpers, pearl clutchers, cackling Karens, or gets Candace Owens and every click-chasing outrage merchant talking shit about me and VNA, that's fine by me. At least it's real talk. The real me taking a second chance at life, putting it all out there for a few seconds to prove the damn point. That's why raw, honest stories like this matter. They cut through the bullshit and build something unbreakable. So loves ya all. Now that y'all have heard and seen all that, let's get on with the rest of the show. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single breath of what's coming next. We're about to dive deep into the interviews, the real breakdowns, the truth bombs on fixing education and smashing cultural lies. This is where the movement heats up. Stick tight. We're just getting started. Oh, and by the way, in case any of the sharper ones in the audience are wondering, yes, I did what I did, partly to prove to everyone that the girl behind this avatar, the one I use for my own security and my kids, is a real, live, biological human female. But let's be honest, this Scorpio couldn't resist throwing in those two video clips for an extra reason. The first one is me at 22 or 23. Honestly, I can't remember the exact age anymore. The second, the one I shot just a week or so ago at 42, I included especially for Andy Lee and What's Her Face. Message received loud and clear. This old broad can still swing her arse and rack like nobody's business. I can still bust out some seriously decent leg, head, arm, floor, and stage moves. Good enough for the dance floor, the broadcast booth, or hosting a whole damn show. Look, before I jump into the rest of this Valentine's Day special and hit you with all the issues, interviews, and truth bombs I promised earlier, I gotta wrap this personal part with one last very real thing. Real biological females can flash their stuff publicly, just like LGBT folks and sex workers do at parades, events, or even straight up on the street these days. Some people act like newscasters, weather girls, broadcast commentators, or show hosts aren't allowed to do the same. Well, I got news for them. A confident, real biological female host, commentator, hell, even a damn weather girl, can flaunt her femininity in an artful, powerful way, exactly like the legendary movie stars, Catherine Deneuve, and so many others who proudly showed their natural assets, gifts, and beauty on cinema screens around the world. And this girl? While I still have a few of those assets and gifts hanging on, I'm not about to hide them or waste them. Feel me? Nulda W. Andy Lee, who you all I assume know, as she's became quite famous these days, used to have all sorts of those leftist piece of shit libtards from antihate.ca and other leftist pieces of shit showing up where she or her children were, stalking her online, and also dangerously to her personal safety. Me, just because I did things in my life that required me to learn a few security tricks, have become quite a little expert at using them, and do oft perhaps even a bit overzealously practice them. And I try learning new ones, as I'm a firm believer in both Murphy's Law, that if something can happen, it usually will, and I'm also a firm believer in the wisdom inherent in Benjamin Franklin's old adage that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I take my personal safety and security very, very seriously, probably way more than Donald Trump, or even that nation-destroying now past prime moron of Canada, Justin Trudeau did, or Canada's now present El Bozo prime moron does. I've, in addition to the little security measures I took while dancing, have studied, learned, and incorporate measures taught to professional bodyguards, the U.S. and French Secret Service, military security, as well as some spycraft tactics used by the CIA, MI6, and the Republic of France's DGSE. Because after Kim was hit by Candace, who was supposed to be a conservative ally, and Andy Lee was hit on all sides for her little celebration dance, and most of all, because they actually tried to hurt, even kill me, I decided to up my personal security threefold after Kim was hit. And Andy for this little 50,000 X views alone, Lil Ol's celebratory dance. Just one more time. Oh, won't you dance? Won't you come on and dance with me? Won't you dance with me? Won't you dance with me? Stay with me. Won't you place your sweet lips on my tongue? Unlike Kim Kardashian, or myself, VNA's Andy Lee has no prior history whatsoever in the sex trade, nor has she ever been an alcoholic, drug user, or even be as flirtatious or brazenly exhibitionist to flash or expose her rack. She sometimes, yes, dresses kinda sexy, shows a bit of skin to gain a few clicks like I'm doing in this broadcast, or uses her attractive figure to get attention to what she's saying, but Andy's not a slut, nor tries to be. Yet she's constantly bombarded with derogatory remarks, comments, even outright physical harm and death threats by leftist libtards. I say if a girl is gifted a bit in the rack or other physical attributes, in addition to nursing her children, that's what the good Lord gave us girls those racks for. And if a girl, any girl, wants to use them to elevate her place or popularity, long as she's not fucking every Tom, Dick, Harry, or Mary, more power to her for using those God-given tools like Andy, Kim, myself, or this awesome Canadian girl in voice does here. So now, just for a little break from my conversation with you, and to add a little satirical but oh so truthful flavor to this broadcast, for those that have never heard or seen her, I'm going to introduce you to another awesome female Canadian voice who straight up and straight out, in a similar fashion as I do just how and what it is, no holds barred. She looks younger than she actually is, and like myself, doesn't let people know even her real name. She goes under the pseudonym of What's Her Face, nor lets anyone know exactly where she lives. She's a mommy too now, and this video clip I'm going to show you was done before her child's birth, during the pandemic. And although not quite as well endowed as Kim, Andy, or I, she has a nice rack that fits her petite body well. And being very attractive, she also uses her gifts of attractive facial features and hot little spinner body as a tool. If you're a for real person, what you're about to hear from this awesome little Canadian spinner from Markham, Ontario, is probably what you thought during all the COVID mandates and probably now even still think and can relate to. So watch her in action now, and this here girl's gonna return to continue our talk together after she does her thing. So now, without further ado, I present to you the one and only What's Her Face.
Happy New Year, beautiful creatures, and welcome to my brand new channel, where at the most, I will take you through a world of pure imagination, and at the very least, you can listen to me talk shit about stuff while you fold laundry for your ungrateful family. 2021 was a great year. It was very eventful. I mean, billionaires went to space, this old lady almost overthrew the US government, and Demi Lovato announced that she now identifies as a cup of high-fat frozen yogurt. But now, that's all in the past. We gotta enter 2022 with a clean slate, ready to embrace all the new stupid bullshit this year has in store. And in order to do that, we gotta leave 2021 shit in 2021. So to kick off the new year and my new channel, here is my list of things you all gotta stop doing immediately. Number 1, being lazy. There is absolutely no excuse to be lazy this year. I mean, other than the fact that gyms are closed, depression is at an all-time high, and in some parts of the world, you can be fined for traveling beyond a 50-mile radius of your house. There's plenty of shit you can do to get fit in the comfort of your own home. You could hire an in-home personal trainer. You could finally order that Peloton with all the money you saved from not going out. You can beat your kids more often now that they're home all the time. There's something to suit every lifestyle. Number 2, using common sense. I don't know if you've noticed, but common sense is no longer an asset. In the new world, we value hypocrisy, contradiction, and blind faith. So go ahead and stick that fork in the toaster, curl your hair in the bathtub, hire Ghislaine Maxwell to babysit your kids, play Blood Brothers with Charlie Sheen. Anything goes. Number 7, doctor's visits. Listen, we're about to enter the year 2022, and there is nothing more passé than visiting your family physician for your health needs. These days, you can get medical care anywhere. Costco, Walgreens, McDonald's, even your local whorehouse. So leave those medical professionals alone. Because you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but a spoonful of herpes helps the medicine go down. Number 4, engaging with pronoun warriors. Do you realize that the majority of people you argue with online believe men need pap smears? Do you realize that the majority of them thought all of the world's glaciers would melt by the year 2020? Did you know most of these people graduated from college? And a good proportion of them are medical doctors? Just live your life. Number 5, trusting the plan. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. Number 6, overestimating people. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Here in Canada, we are back in lockdown. Can't go to a restaurant, can't get your hair done, can't even be present at the birth of your own offspring. But if you talk to the right people and hang out in the right circles, you'll find the establishments that are not in lockdown, if you catch my drift. So the other day, a few people and I are in said speakeasy about to enjoy a meal, and one of the guys we're with says to the waitress, "Could you please tell me the specials?" Specials? Specials? Motherfucker, we just came through the back door. I just saw the guy at table 12 smoking a dart in the kitchen. The only special here is you and the short bus you rode in on. These people are in such a state of delusion. It's like they literally can't comprehend the severity of the situation we're in. They just carry on in blissful ignorance as if the world isn't crumbling all around them. These are the people that are going to be standing in the bread line referring to their daily ration of slop as an amuse-bouche. These people are going to be eating their own children, calling up their friends to tell them about the rare and treasured delicacy they just had. It reminds me of that scene from Titanic. You guys know the scene where the ship is sinking and there's like that one poshy bitch who's like, Trudy, I would like a cup of tea when I return to my room. This iceberg has created quite a chill. Number 3, one-upping. You ever met one of these people who has to make you feel like a piece of shit for everything you do? You know, even the small wins that you're really proud of. You'll be like, "You like my new sweater? It's made of organic hemp." Yeah, it's nice. What, you don't like it? I thought organic hemp was good. Oh no, it's perfect for you. I actually raise my own sheep and shear them on the first harvest moon of the year. My underwear were freshly made this morning. Smell them. They're straight from the farm. What? Number 9. This one is specifically for my young viewers. I don't even know if I have any, but just in case, I don't want to leave you out. Stop listening to people who tell you 30 is the new 20. 30 is not the new 20. 30 is 30. 30 is tired and irritable and doesn't have any tolerance for bullshit. So regardless of how many of your peers scream YOLO before spending half their rent money on a giant inflatable unicorn, do not let them convince you to spend your 20s microdosing artisan oat milk and acting as a beard for some fuckboy who hasn't come out of the closet yet. Because you may only live once, I mean it's doubtful, but for the majority of people, the foundation of that one life is built in their 20s. So get a real fucking job, date with intention, and probably don't get the word mischievous tattooed across your forehead. Unless, of course, you want to wake up at 35 living in a studio apartment and talking to your one-eyed cat named Todd. The story's about me. And last but not least, number 10, worrying. Let me ask you something. Does worrying change the past? No. Does it change the future? No. So why the fuck you doing it? The only purpose of worrying is to inspire you to change course. So either change course or don't. But don't waste your time worrying. Shit or get off the pot. And when life throws you lemons, whip them at a feminist and dance.
I'm so in love with you. I'll be forever blue. That you give me no reason why you make me work so hard. That you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no soul. I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect to me. And if I should falter, would you open your arms out to me?
Wasn't she awesome? Even though she's never said her actual real first or last name publicly, she's not only one little hot spinner cutie, but a 100% Canadian as well as North American girl who, like myself and Andy Lee, exercises her right to free speech and expression. She just says it like it is, and as we all think it really is, just in a different way, with her own satirical flair and style, but says it all just like we do here at WDBG and VNA. Or like Charlie LaDuff over at NBN says it without giving a damn what anyone fucking thinks or says about it. So if you haven't subscribed to her, Andy Lee, or us here at WDBG VNA, and Charlie LaDuff over at NBN No Bullshit News Hour to hear the real, please do so now as we all can use your support. I'm going to close out this cast pretty soon, but before I do, you'll need to stay with me because you sure enough need to hear and understand the rest of what this here girl's bringing and slinging at you tonight in this Valentine's Day and Week special. And don't you worry after you hear and learn what I'm gonna say. Stay tuned by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so none of you all in the audience will miss out when I'll be back with more shows and truths in what'll seem like merely a couple heartbeats. Or one Detroit minute, yup, I'll be back with more awesome and entertained news, fun, info, and opine. But before I sign off for the night, I'm not going to be doing what any real media girl's supposed to be doing, unless I tell you the rest of what I need to say to you tonight. Which is once again for any late arrivals to this show, I'm Amy Suzanne, WDBG's CEO and your show host, as well as your personal guide on North America's issues and some facts many of you don't know or haven't. Connected all the dot to, and or of, and Mondu. Tonight, mon amis et BBs, we're all together going to be diving deep into the shadows of history to unearth the raw, unfiltered truth behind why Canada and the United States are in such a tangled mess. So now, buckle up and brace yourself for the rest of this wild ride back through time. Peeling back the layers to expose the root causes of our modern chaos. Millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, and yeah, even you wise boomers, you all need to really listen up as this tale and journey back through time is especially for you all as only a few born in the last 6 decades know the real history, the hidden dynamics that have knotted and rotted our nations. So, Open your hearts and minds, and let's dive into and discover the real truth we're about to bear ensemble. You'll walk away seeing the world clearer and hopefully roar in to fix what's gotten broken. Mercy for being here. Your presence fuels this adventure. So everyone, and I mean all you Moncheries, don't just sit there lazy-like and forget to hit that subscribe button and ring my notification bell. Now, without further ado, let's dive head first into the truth together. Buckle up, because tonight we're riding through how our schools went from flying the flag high to flirting with Marxist manifestos. How did we get here? Who dropped the ball? Let's unpack this fucking Marty mess of a situation. Back in the late 1800s, schools in the US and Canada were all about patriotism. Patriotism. Kids saluted the flag, learned why their country was the cat's pajamas, and soaked up respect for leaders. Horace Mann in the States pushed schools to turn out good citizens while Canada preached peace, order, and good government. But then boom, the progressive era hits in the 1890s and John Dewey starts preaching a new gospel. Schools ain't just for memorizing facts, they're for teaching kids to think. Sounds cool, right? But it's the first crack in the armor. Suddenly, it's less about God bless America and more about questioning the system. Pause. Not bad, but it's a slippery slope, folks. By the 1920s, things get spicy. The Great Depression's got folks broke and angry looking for answers. George Counts at Columbia's Teachers College drops a bomb with his 1932 pamphlet, Dare the School Build a New Social Order. He's telling teachers to be revolutionaries, to fix society's mess. Not commie level, but close enough to make conservatives clutch their pearls. In New York, AFT Local Number 5 starts pushing communist vibes in places like Harlem. Canada's quieter, but socialist ideas creep in through labor folks in Toronto and Montreal. Patriotism's taken a backseat as teachers question the rosy history we've been fed. Hey, let's roll into the Cold War 40s and 50s where the paranoia is thicker than molasses. McCarthy's hunting commies in every classroom scaring teachers straight. Truth is, most educators ain't reading Marx by candlelight, but the fear's real. Kids are taught to duck and cover, but also to think hard about their country's flaws. Historians like James Adams poke holes in the America's perfect story. In Canada, the space race pushes science over flag waving. By the 60s, Sacramento, holy cow, the new left's born, and it's a game-changer. Students fired up by civil rights and anti-war protests are pushing back. Herbert Marouse, this neo-Marxist guru, tells kids to question everything. Government, capitalism, the whole deal. Campuses turn into battlegrounds. Students for a democratic society in the States and similar crews in Canada demand change. They want schools to teach about inequality, not just Betsy Ross and McDonald. Teachers fresh out of radicalized universities bring that fire to high schools. It's not about saluting leaders anymore. It's about calling them out. Some of that's needed, but they forgot how to balance it with pride in what's good about our countries. The vibes shifting and patriotism's getting sidelined for critique. That's when folks start whispering about schools going left and Mondor they ain't wrong. All right, let's hit the 70s and 80s when the lefty stuff sets up shop in schools for real. Multicultural education, bilingual classes, women's studies, all popping up to give voice to folks who've been ignored. Noble, sure. But the pendulum swings hard. In the U.S., laws like the 1975 Education for All Handicapped Children Act push inclusivity tied to a broader shift towards social justice over tradition. Canada's doing similar stuff, especially with Indigenous voices questioning the colonial story. Teachers' unions like the NEA and AFT all pushing progressive reforms. Universities churn out teachers steeped in Marxist-flavored theories mixing feminism, race, and class into a new classroom gospel. By the 80s, scholars like Jay Weiner at UCLA pushing Marx and dope. It's not just about economics. It's about culture, power, who's got it, who don't. This stuff trickles to K-12, where teachers lean into critical lenses over flag waving. Parents start noticing, and they ain't happy. The train's left the station. Memes, my friends, and it's heading left fast. Schools ain't just teaching kids to think, they're teaching them to rethink everything, sometimes tossing out the baby with the bathwater. Now, let's cruise into the 9s and 2000s where this lefty vibe solidifies like cement. Critical race theory, gender studies, all that jazz starts shaping curricula, especially in urban schools. Ibram X. Kendi's pushing anti-racist education, saying we got to face systemic flaws head-on. Fair point. But conservatives are screaming indoctrination. In Canada, multiculturalism's king and Indigenous reconciliation's rewriting history books. Ain't nobody saluting the Queen. They're debating her legacy. By 2014, the AP US history frameworks got folks like Larry Kager losing it, saying it's too negative about America. Fast forward to 2024, and Congress is passing the Communism in Teaching Act to keep Marxist vibes in check. Say foo, it's crazy, right? But this ain't just about curriculum, it's a whole vibe shift. Schools went from teaching kids to love their country to teaching them to question it. Sometimes that's good. Blind patriotism is a trap, but when you lean so hard into critique that kids don't know what's worth celebrating, you've lost something. That's where we're at, folks, and it's got North America divided from school boards to dinner tables. So, how do we end up in this mess? Let's break it down. Decor. Okay, first, you've got intellectual heavyweights like John Dewey and George Counts setting the stage for schools to be social change machines. The Great Depression and Civil Rights era made folks hungry for justice, and schools became the battlefield. Universities pumped out Marxist lean-in teachers and the 60s counterculture, feminism, all that. It pushed educators to ditch the old rah-rah for something more critical. Global vibes like the Soviet Union's education model made revolutions sound sexy even if most teachers weren't reading Das Kapital mistakes. Oh, we made them. Schools got so caught up in critical thinking they forgot to teach kids what's worth loving about their country. Balance got tossed out the window. Nobody checked the universities when they started churning out radicalized teachers. Parents got left in the dust feeling like their kids were being fed a narrative they didn't sign up for. That's a fumble big time, and it's why folks are so heated now. Who's to blame for this leftward slide? Ain't no single villain. But let's point some fingers. Dewey and Counts kicked it off, planting seeds for change that grew wilder than they planned. Herbert Maroos and the New Left turned campuses into radical hubs. And folks like Ibram X. Kendi kept the fire burning with anti-racist education. Teachers' unions like the NEA, QP, and AFT pushed hard for progressive reforms, sometimes leaning too far left. But the real route and the end result of all this nation-destroying trasi monami, it's a sinister, slow-motion unraveling of trust in our North American institutions, government, church, the whole damn backbone of our society. This isn't some accident, no random fumble. It's a calculated playbook ripped straight from Mao's little red book designed to torch the four olds, customs, culture, habits, and ideas, while gutting the rights, choices, and freedoms of our capitalist West. Don't kid yourself, May Shears, my dears. Communist China's fingerprints are all over this, orchestrating a silent invasion to make generations of Americans and Canadians lose faith in the system that built their nations. How? By slithering into our schools, turning educators into unwitting pawns. Once teachers championed the values that forged America and Canada: liberty, individuality, pride in our shared history. Now, too many are dismantling those foundations, slicing up our heritage like a dissection lab frog, often forgetting to stitch it back together. This isn't just teaching history. It's pushing a worldview, a near-religious zeal to fix society by torching what's deemed broken. But here's the kicker. They rarely rebuild. They leave our kids with questions, doubts, and zero pride in the principles that made North America a beacon of freedom. The impact, it's a cultural earthquake, splitting us apart. Schools tilting hard left have polarized us to the breaking point. Monomi, conservatives scream indoctrination. Progressives shrug, calling it facing facts. Both sides dig in and the divide deepens, leaving our nations fractured, our trust eroded, and our future on shaky ground. May shares, my dears, this is no accident. It's a war on our values, and we're losing ground fast. And the end result of all this nation destroying? Monamse, schools are caught in the crossfire trying to teach inclusivity while dodging accusations of being anti-American or anti-Canadian. Patriotism's taken a hit. Kids know more about their country's sins than its wins. That cultural Marxism vibe. It's got folks feeling like schools are pushing division over unity. The push for inclusivity's enriched education, no doubt. But when you sideline tradition, you alienate half the population. Parents are mad, feeling like their values got steamrolled. And kids, they're caught in the middle, learning to critique before they learn what's worth fighting for. That's the real cost of this shift, and it's why we're all yelling at each other instead of building something together. So what's the deal with how this happened? It's a century of choices, some good, some sloppy. Progressive educators wanted justice, but they didn't balance it with pride. Universities got too cozy with radical ideas and nobody pumped the brakes. Parents got sidelined, and now they're fighting back. It started with Dewey's push for critical thinking, got wild in the 60s with student protests, and cemented in the 90s with critical theories like CRT. Each step made sense at the time. Fix an inequality, given voice to the voiceless. But it tipped too far. Schools forgot to teach kids why their country is worth loving, focusing instead on what's broken. That's not education. It's a mission decord. Okay? And when education turns into a crusade, you lose the plot. We're here because we let the pendulum swing too far left without checking it. All right, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. This shift ain't just about schools. It's about how we see ourselves as nations. The move from pride to critique has left us fractured. In the U.S., folks are duking it out over history curricula, with some saying it's too negative, others saying it's just truth. Canada's wrestling with the same, especially around Indigenous history and multiculturalism. Both sides got a point, but neither's got the whole truth. The mistake was thinking we could teach kids to question everything without giving them something to stand for. That's where the left's quasi-religious vibe comes in. Marxism, CRT, it's less about facts and more about a lens, a way of seeing the world as broken and in need of fixing. But if you only tear down what's left, that's the question we're grappling with now. Decord. Okay, so where do we go from here? We can't go back to blind flag waving. That's a trap too. But we need balance. Silver plate. Please teach the good, the bad, the ugly, but don't forget the good. Kids deserve to know why their country is worth fighting for, not just what it's done wrong. Teachers got to step up, parents got to speak up, and schools got to listen. We can't let this divide fester, or we're handing the reins to extremists on both sides. The left's push for justice is real, but it's got to meet pride halfway. Otherwise, we're just yelling past each other, and our kids are the ones paying the price. Let's rebuild a system that teaches critical thinking and love for what's ours so we can move forward together. Let's wrap this up. Let's get North America's rising. This journey from flag salute in schools to Marxist lean-in classrooms didn't happen overnight. It's a century of shifts. Progressive ideas, social upheavals, universities gone wild, and trust in institutions tankin'. We fumbled by leaning too hard into critique without balancing it with pride. Dway, Counts, Marcus, Kendi, they all played a part pushing schools to be changemakers. But when you only focus on what's broken, you forget what's worth saving. That's why we're polarized, why parents are mad, why kids are confused. It's on us to fix this marred mess. Yep, North America, my fam. Across the USA and Canada, we've got a fire to put out. Our schools, once the bedrock of nation building, now question the very foundations they were meant to uphold. And let's not kid ourselves. Commie, cash, and ideology seeping into our classrooms like a slow poison have carved a nation-wrecking path. tearing at the principles that forged our proud nations. This isn't just a hiccup. It's a cultural, societal, family-shattering tangle that keeps feeding itself, unraveling the pride, freedom, and unity America and Canada were built on. The left's push for justice and equality. Those aren't the villains. Hell, they're noble in intent, but they can't stand alone, stripping away our love for our history, our founding principles, and the nations we've sweat and bled to build. We need educators who ignite young minds to think critically and love their country, not just deconstructed into dust. Parents, this is your wake-up call. Your voice is a thunderclap. Schools, hear us loud and clear. We're done scrapping over crumbs. It's time to rebuild something fierce, something true. Let's strike that balance, mais amis, my friends, and show the next generation what North America's heart is made of. Grit, pride, and unyielding spirit. So keep your eyes locked on this fight, fam. Hit that subscribe button, stay in the game, and let's take back our story. Keep it real, keep it proud. Amy Suzanne signing off. Now, before this girl goes for the morn, let's shine a light on our friends over in France and in the D. All right, fam, before I bounce and take you to vibe with some friends in France and the Motor City, let's wrap this up with a tight, no-frills summary of the truth bombs I've dropped on today's show. This one's for all you in Canada and the US still holding on to a sharp, unclouded mind, free from the grip of leftist and commie fog. Here's the real deal, boiled down to the core. Since the late 1800s, leftist ideologies have steadily infiltrated North American schools, eroding love and respect for Canada and the United States among students with each generation, compounding this disdain through education systems that perpetuate and amplify anti-national sentiment. This process began with early socialist and Marxist influences in academic circles, which criticized capitalism and national pride as tools of oppression, gradually reshaping curricula to emphasize systemic flaws over patriotic values. By the mid-last century, those cultural Marxist ideas gained traction through influential figures like Howard Zinn, whose textbook, A People's History of the United States, and the clones of that textbook used in Canada presented a skewed, lopsided narrative focusing on America's failures, slavery, colonialism, and inequality, while downplaying its achievements and ideals. Zinn's work, widely adopted in schools, framed North America as inherently unjust, fostering guilt and distrust among students toward their nation's histories and institutions. Over decades, this narrative has been reinforced by educators trained in these ideologies, creating a self-perpetuating cycle where each generation teaches the next to view Canada and the United States with increasing contempt, undermining cultural cohesion and national identity. Simultaneously, Chinese communist influences have exacerbated this trend, covertly funding North American academic institutions through programs like Confucius Institutes and Islamic Cultural.orgs, orgs which subtly promote anti-Western sentiment and align with the Marxist goal of dismantling the four old ideas, culture, customs, and habits, as well as other Islamic rooted in old Muslim Brotherhood ideology, but whom and which professed and alleged to be only harmless cultural groups have for decades all acted throughout North America to weaken both nations internally. This strategic infiltration avoids direct confrontation, allowing foreign powers to erode North America's social fabric, economy, and family structures without firing a shot. Generations of students shaped by these curricula have been duped, coerced, and brainwashed into accepting these ideas, often unaware of the broader agenda. The result is a fractured society where citizens lulled by decades of ideological conditioning have unwittingly allowed their nation's values, economies, and cultural heritage to erode, leaving Canada and the United States vulnerable to internal collapse. This awakening demands a reckoning with the education system's role in perpetuating division and a call to reclaim the pride and unity that once defined these nations. And that's why fixing North America's educators, teachers, their teachers' unions, and entire educational systems should be first on the agenda of everyone. Well, that's the wrap-up. Short and sweet, laid on you all by this here girl Amy, who's now going to take y'all over to our friends in France and the Motor City, the 313 Big D, need to say to you tonight, which is this N little old Valentine's Day video card greeting L had my awesome tech team make for all of you. Please excuse that the word Valentine was misspelled in some portions of it though, as it was made to haste in order to have it ready in time for Valentine's Day and this broadcast tonight. So unfortunately that typo occurred. Then, after you see my little old personal Valentine's Day video card this here, girl gonna end this broadcast with my own little special ending to this show. And final thoughts I'm gonna leave all of you, especially those wannabe feminists out there in the audience who many of those feminists have been brainwashed by all the Marxist shit they've been taught and therefore got it all twisted up, misconstrued, and wrong. So here, all that enjoy. How many of you out there remember normal? When did the world and people being normal get canceled? Normal, by the way, is my gender identity. Misgender me at your peril. What makes me normal? Well, even though, as you just heard and learned, I have a history, some of the Bible and Quran thumpers out there may frown upon or point to as rooted in evil, I got out of that pasty lifestyle, and today I'm in a monogamous marriage. And I intend to stick with it until death do us part. I'm a proud husbosexual. That means I'm only attracted to the one man who identifies as my husband. We have a kid, and yeah, our child remains and is always going to remain the same fucking sex they entered the world as. The only flags we fly? My husband and I, well, we fly. Both the American one with 50 stars and 13 stripes, plus that red maple leaf one up there, too. Hey, dual citizenship means double the patriotism, eh? No apologies for loving both sides of the border, and this here girl. The as well as my old man have both had the thought that perhaps there should only be one North American flag and one unified North American nation rather than some damn 51st state. Perhaps it might be for North America's best interests. Some of you all start thinking that way too, as a couple, family, and true North American patriots. We're trying our best to instill traditional Judeo-Christian North American values in our little one. You know, stuff like every human being is created in the image of God, personal responsibility, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We hope our kid marries young and produces a lot of grandchildren for me to bounce on my knees one day. Trigger warning. Even though I still have a career, I put my family first, so I also stayed home, or at least prioritized, raising my baby over chasing the spotlight. Compared to most women my age in their early 40s, all this makes me a radical to some of the brainwashed by Marxist feminism bullshit. An extremist or female version of a misogynic bitch, but I'd rather have you, and those morons just refer to and call myself let's just say refer to me as a real good and traditionally good old-fashioned real biological human female and the right kind of North American domestic extremist. The funny thing is, I ain't classically domestic, or the classical homemaker of the sort depicted in all those 1950s through 70s TV shows. Nah, my online fam, I don't bake from scratch every day and laundry or cooking and cleaning house. I tolerate it at best. I've never crocheted a damn thing, darned a sock, or touched a fucking sewing machine. No gardening, no animal husbandry for me. Too late to learn how to milk cows. You're welcome, cows. In fact, I spent a big chunk of my younger life in places far from picket fences, big cities, bright lights, where tending plants meant something else entirely. For better or worse, I was raised in a world that told me to flash my ass and tits, chase independence, glamour, bling, fame, and whatever corporate advertising's propaganda theater actors told me I should chase and desire. In short, I was once, just like a lot or many of you, unhappy, trying to convince myself that the hustle was fulfilling. Then fate intervened. I met a great man, my Vinny D, just in time, and I realized something my grandma probably took for granted. A woman's most meaningful calling in life is to be a wife and mother. This is coming to you from someone who, like Kim Klasik when she was younger, worked in a titty bar. Yep, it's coming to you from me, and from this past her expiration date for all that click and attention-seeking of her youth, ex-topless dancer, who put herself on another kind of other public stage, and who showed and slung her tits and ass around for cash to put myself through college. And let me tell you once again that while I was doing all that there in the past, this here girl, well, embarrassing as it is for me to say, I'm still gonna honestly let you know once again that while doing that dance thing and gig to earn cash to support my tootin' and living expenses during that period in my life, Lil I and me got coaxed into more than a few extra acts and dates too before I was married. And today, I'm not proud of it. But I ain't gonna whitewash it either. Yep, this here girl did what I did. It is what it is. I am what I am. And today, that's a far better woman that girl I was back on that other sort of public stage. I quit that dangerous lifestyle, became Christian, changed my life for personal reasons, and removed myself from it. And even if you're not a dancer, did, or doing some other shit in life, abusing your body with drugs, stress, or something else not conducive to your best interests, you can change your life for the better simply by becoming a female domestic extremist too. Because honey, I'm not bullshitting ya in the least bit. Becoming extremely domestic saved me. And this here girl, I'm telling all you other real biological females who've been duped and brainwashed by radical Marxist, influenced education and culture to wake the fuck up and at least give it a whirl, because domestic extremism can save you, your family, and, yeah, the country, our entire civilization, from this collective nosedive. Wait a second. Am I saying women shouldn't pursue careers? No. When it comes to a career, I'm pro-choice. I do the CEO and career thing myself. I'm simply just saying being a wife and mother is, or a real biological female and true North American patriot is, your real and true fucking job. Number 1. Not being some damn man-hating cultural Marxist influenced, plucking, duped, and brainwashed feminist. Because North America, especially Canada, due to all the cultural Marxism via educational and cultural influences that I just in this broadcast and show thoroughly explained that been infused into North America, their decades of bad education has resulted in causing both North America's females as well as both Canada and the United States to move towards pretty much all tumbling into free fall. And everyone knows, or at least gets those vibes. Just look around. Young people can't form real relationships, raise a kid, or even perpetuate the species. Loneliness, depression, drug abuse, despair, it's everywhere. The hour grows late. We're facing an extinction-level event, as in, soon there won't be enough of us. How did we get here? Lots of reasons, but I'm pointing my finger at one. It ain't open borders, cancel culture, or unbridled wokeness, though they sure as hell haven't helped. It's feminism and all its empty promises that has nearly erased the point and purpose of being female. And when you do that, things go sideways fucking fast. The endless cries for girl power and female empowerment have led straight to today's dystopia. Even worse, those fanatics had a 50-year head start. We gotta take the culture fight to them if we hope to reclaim our country, our children, and our true power as North American women. Yeah, that's right, girls, you heard me. If we want to save ourselves, and North America need to not toss the baby in us hour with the bathwater of feminism and woman the fuck up. We need to lean in to the very essence of our being, commit to a lifestyle that ain't always easy, that might bring zero social media glory, and will make you a pariah in certain circles. We need more real biological girls and females of every age to choose domestic extremism. To become more domestic, in other words. Becoming a domestic extremist, once you commit to it, is so simple and natural to do for any real biological female. Yep, so easy and natural that you can start today. All you gotta do is choose to live again in a way that, within recent memory, was considered normal. Never forget this truth. We didn't become the extremists, they did. And if you choose to remain child-free because a kid pollutes the planet or keeps you from some concert, that's okay with me. To paraphrase Napoleon, never interrupt a cat lady when she's making a mistake. Leave the homemaking to us. Yup, take joy in the thought that while dumbass leftist and Marxist bitches are moaning about and demanding gender equity, and TikToking about how great it is to be 29 or 40 through a 100-year-old clique and attention-seeking feminist idiots with no commitments, and are yapping away about wasting their lives and potential away by complaining about how marriage is indentured servitude, we'll be making babies, raising responsible adults, and dreaming of all the grandkids who'll call us grandma one day. Be fruitful, husbands and wives, and multiply. Make sure our offspring and posterity are taught right. Yeah, that's how we win. This has been Amy Suzanne, a domestic extremist, for WDBG VNA and for North America's best interests and welfare, signing off and ghosting for now. But mes amis, my friends and fam, I'll be back in what will be like no more than a few heartbeats till next time. À la prochaine, bonne soir, says soir. Good evening, good night.
Thank you for inviting us into your home. TV50 hopes you've enjoyed our programs today, and as always, we appreciate your comments. Today's programs on WDBG organically reproduced.